terrible
click the
use
button.
of words.
All right.
Beautiful. Greetings and welcome back to Homebrew, and welcome back to our saga of the Call of the Hunger. Our party is just stepping foot into the Bracken Bastion as we stand here today, which, as you guys are familiar with, is essentially our homage to the what's it, Kaer Morhen, essentially, because this place is full of certified badasses, guys devoted towards hunting of monstrosities. So, before we get cracking into this, I just wanted to ask everyone, you good to go? I got story points. It looks like 2 for Austin, sorry, for Wretch, 1 for Emery, and 1 for Ilya. Is that right?
Sounds right to me.
Sounds right on my side.
I don't have any.
Awesome. Only you don't have any? All right, I'll steal it then.
I remember you used a bunch on her when she was getting assassinated.
Did you?
Maybe I spent 1 on you. Let's just give
Okay. Sure, I'll
give you
take
your
it.
story point. Yeah. Okay. And can you guys hear the air conditioning in the back? No? Okay, perfect. Audio, video concerns out of the way. What do you guys remember as where we left off?
Our widow friend got impaled in the trees by a bird that may have had a prior interaction with Arnold Schwarzenegger, possibly.
Yeah.
Miraculously, Wretch just fixed that,
Mm-hmm.
and we're on our way to
Feeling fine.
the Bracken Bastion, and I'm considering how we can make it easier to violently murder that thing.
Yeah, and so you guys took off, and you ended up actually getting to the Bracken Bastion. It was up some winding vines on one of the elder trees that was cut short, and it was the fort was set on the top of the stump. The stump itself was engraved with circlets of inlaid metals and engraved with patterns of protection. There were giant vines with thorns on them that formed the basis of the outside of the walls. That slightly rotated inward, making basically meat grinders halfway up the wall. There were a bunch of squat towers all about the facility with giant glass structures on the tops of them with piping, metal pipework coming out of the top of them of strange design. There were also a bunch of artwork for symbols of religious nature depicting of all sorts of sects all about the fortress as well. And then above the structure, there was the canopy of the other elder trees set about the area with a bunch of rookeries and other types of stables and other types of like natural animal habitats set up. And a gigantic net covered up the about 200 feet up above the fortress, some sort of protection of some sort, a big silver net. And as you guys come to set foot into Bracken Bastion, there was a couple of things that led you here, and I just kind of wanted to reiterate and circle back. I know one thing was that Emery had a particular interest in finding a character by the name of G, who was told, you were told that you would be able to that they would be able to help you with your brother, essentially. Able to help you with your brother, essentially, being able to make a permanent home for him. Wallaby also had a very specific interest in coming here as well, and so he had asked that you guys help him get here so that way he could make contact with some folks too. And so as you guys step into the Bracken Bastion, one of the first things that you guys notice is that there's a bit of an ease to your shoulders that it's almost as if you didn't realize how much you were tensing your shoulders, and then you like slowly like relax them a little bit and you're like, oh, right. There's something about the forest that's been nagging at you guys, and you're not necessarily sure if it's just been
Being
the
hunted.
state of the past couple of weeks, right? Being hunted, being out of your element, being put on time pressures, etc., or if it was something more than that.
I was gonna say, an assassin following you around and trying to murder your friends does tend to make you stress out a little bit, like just
Right.
a smidge.
As you guys step into the Bracken Bastion, one of the first things that you guys notice is that for how large this facility is, and it's got a pretty open courtyard, by the way, and a lot of smaller in diameter towers that are, like I said, squat. For how big the Bracken Bastion is, it's not very significantly populated. In fact, it's quite sparsely populated right now. And as you guys walk into the facility, one of the first things that you guys notice is a couple of people sparring off in the corner, and another group has a large hawk of meat spitted over a outside pit fire. And there's a couple of folks sitting around it. A couple that you would immediately notice as Loon, the pinkish skinned, knife-eared individuals that are the majority of the population of this fort. And amongst them, though, is a silvered knight. He appears to be in a doublé, and he's got a crested shield sitting next to him, and he's talking to the crew in front of him. There seems to be an audience that is wrapped in his story. As you guys are walking by, Wallaby's like, just keep walking, and you hear the gentleman speaking to the other folks. So there I was, all right. We were 30,000 feet in the air. The Wyvern pitched left, they pitched right, but it couldn't shake me. That's the thing, though. At that point, it turned its neck back, and it turned its draconic eyes into mine. And there was a semblance of respect that passed from it to me. And it said in its draconic tongue, Leu Hasulin, Dayanar, Te Dule, which, knowing draconic tongue, it told me, you may be able to hold on. You may be able to spit me with that sword of yours. But you'll die too, plummeting 30,000 feet to the surface of this place. A drop of sweat beaded my brow. I have to tell you guys now. But I looked that thing into the eyes, and with a steel in my heart I said, the one thing you didn't account for, Wyvern, is that my life is forfeit. I'm here to make sure the Sullivan's family, that farm back there, is sullied no more by you. And with that, the Wyvern found its first trace of fear. Struck a deal with me then and there.
This guy thinks he has the biggest dick.
Struck a deal with me then and there. It would return to the Highlands not to molest the farmers in this area anymore. And with that, I slew a Wyvern's heart without needing to pierce its hide. Hey! And as he's saying this, the rapt audience is like enamored with what's going on.
We supposed to clap? I like whisper.
As you say that, the gentleman looks over his shoulder and sees that you guys coming along and goes, Wallaby, it's been sorry, one second. Wallaby, it's been a long time. And who are your friends there?
I wish I was Shins, my other character, so we could just kill this guy.
Come on, sit by the fire. We've got a nice roasted bear on the spit here. It's been slow roasted for 34 hours. The meat is practically dripping right off the bone. Saved the fat, made a nice tallow out of it. Besides, Wallaby, I'm sure you have plenty of stories. And the rest of the crew laughs out loud, cackling in almost a mocking way. Wallaby stops himself, and he's like not making eye contact. He's still like looking like directly at the main entrance to some of the larger structures of the facility. Kind of just like taps his foot a couple of times, and he goes, "No, Rad Baxter. In fact, I have very few stories of gallantry such as yourself. But I'm sure my friends would be enamored with being able to speak to you about all of the brave things you've done throughout the old world." And the guy kind of speaks up. "You mean dwelling? I mean, the old world is usually where I tend to hold my domain, but I've been spreading out. I saved a few folks back up in Guayaquil the other day. No small matter, but like I said, like I said, Wallaby, I'm sure you have plenty of beautiful tales to add to the smorgasbord of our delight." "Oh, of course I do, but you see, I have many important tasks and cannot simply sit around rabble-rousing with you guys. As you are probably well aware, Rotherdyne is very intent on speaking to me." And the other guy speaks up. "Very well, but anytime, especially you good-looking." And he kind of winks at Emery.
Aw, not Wretch.
Not Ilya? I'm so handsome.
I'm fluffy.
Well, she definitely, blushes, but
Wallaby starts walking off towards the keep, the central keep.
Aw. Wretch is downtrodden. He's like, man, I serve the goddess of beauty, and I'm a fluffy little guy. Oh,
Well, I think you're quite wonderful, Reg.
thanks. Ah.
As you like look a little bit downtrodden, he goes. Rad Baxter stands up and goes, "Oh, I didn't mean to exclude. I find beauty in all places. Who are you, by the way?" He goes, "Who are you, tall, stormy, and handsome? And you, little guy, you got best of furs."
Wretch Braventail, healer extraordinaire, and nice person. I kind of lose my bluster like halfway through.
I am Ilya. I am a fighter from the north.
From the north.
I stab. And I cut.
I respect your people. What comes out of the Winterlands is the most abominable things that you could imagine. You come from hardy stock. And you, sir, I recognize that symbol. You spit an image of Dahlia herself with a bit of gusto, might I add.
Aw, you recognize me?
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't introduce my compatriots here, the proud Aesawaloon of this fortress. They call themselves Redeemed. If you guys hadn't, I'm sure you talked a little bit about the lore with Wallaby already, but anyways, my friends here, that's Kalamazoo, Enoch. Over there, that's Rania Ashwild, and she's sparring with Lishka Stardoon. All legends amongst themselves. I actually came here to train with them. They taught me everything I know.
How are they interacting with him? Are they like completely enamored with his presence, or are they pretty indifferent?
No, they seem to be groupie-esque. Like I would say, like one shade shy of being groupies. They're all working around the fire, jaw jacking, stuff like that. But you can tell that when they're speaking, he's speaking and addressing you guys. They're there to support, so to speak.
You're not one of the Aesawaloon, then? You're a knight of some sort?
You see, the Aesawaloon are a race, not just a people. I myself am a knight. I'm a knight of Utica, I consider myself. But humble human at your service. He's a blonde hair, white skin, like your classic knight in shining armor style, clean-shaven guy.
Have you ever heard of a race of hunters, bird people, very, very fast, capable of disguising themselves or almost cloaking themselves with the air itself, if that makes sense?
He's got a little bone that he's been like just like rotating and chewing on. He goes, huh. Well, I wouldn't consider myself a lore master around here. How about you, Lishka? Bird person? Lishka turns around and she's got this like beautiful, like, what's that purpley, like almost like a blaze pinkish purple hair, and kind of looks over at you guys and goes, bird person. That's one you do not see around here often in the woodlands. They're not indigenous. Tengu tend to come across from across the highlands. No one knows where they roost.
Tengu's the lizards.
What?
Are Tengus the lizards again?
Tengu are bird people.
Oh, okay.
I thought Kenku, right? Like with a K?
Kenku is the D&D 5e
Oh,
word for it. Tengu is the word for it in this world, and it's also the canonical word of it in Japanese lore.
ah.
All right.
And there's some slight differences. For instance, Kenku can't speak in D&D 5e. That's just something that they can't do. There's lore to this world about what bird people are and a bunch of other stuff. So, but for you guys, it's a flightless bird person in this particular situation.
Okay. All right.
Fair enough.
You ever kill one?
Kill a Tengu. What's the point?
Well, they're making a pass at killing it, or he or she, not here to judge, is making a pass at killing all of us and very nearly succeeded with a party member of mine, and I can't help but take that personally.
And I took that personally.
I definitely took it
Well.
personally.
Tengu are considered sapiens. So your matter's dealing with a killer, not dealing with a beast or a monster. Its hunting patterns are going to be particular. For instance, I knock over there, and you see this big gruff guy who's like cutting off a chunk of this hawk of meat from this bear, and he kind of grunts. Ugh. He likes to use his hands, get in real close, because he's a big awkward brute, and he can't fathom touching something 10 feet away from him. He goes, hey, I represent that remark. Rania over there, she doesn't care too much about getting stuff on her clothes. She prefers a spear or a bow. Prefers to have the fight never cross her feet. Rania goes, why not get the job done from far away? That way you can focus on what really matters and clean it up instead of working on cleaning up your clothes. Plus, the scent getting on you's gonna make your job all the harder. See, Tengu, they're like you and I. This guy that you must this thing that you're chasing hunts with hunts with tools. Yes.
Yes, we've seen him use a spear and a trap.
Belton used a spear. Yeah.
Use it to great effect, let's say.
You'll need to study your prey. The best of hunters study their prey and find their weaknesses, find their proclivities. Go from there.
I feel more
How
like,
do we
like he's
study?
the predator and we're the prey, but maybe
Alright.
we'll turn the tables.
That is
Exactly.
certainly the intention.
It's a mentality. You think this bear thought it was prey? When it died, it did.
Hmm?
And
God, he's
How do we
so
study
wise.
what we can't see?
We can protect it other ways, and it dropped out of its cloak to stab Emery.
Oh, yeah. Emery, go get stabbed again.
I would prefer not to if.
I'll
You're
fix
muted.
you.
What?
I didn't hear anything you just said. That was
Me?
weird. No, Sarah.
Oh,
Oh.
I would prefer not to if that's all right. It didn't feel very good.
Oh.
Do you guys know why this thing is hunting you? Do you take something from it? If it's a person, then maybe it has an agenda. Maybe it doesn't like you.
Well, so far we know its agenda is to kill us in stealth, violently, and it's used beguiling means. I'm not sure if that's the right word. And to our knowledge, we have not encountered any of its other people. Since our time in the woodlands, we haven't offended anybody. We were granted safe passage because we released some trapped and tormented souls, and I can't imagine that would offend anybody, but could be wrong. We haven't had a chance to talk to it.
When did we?
No, I probably would have appreciated that more than watching my friend get impaled.
When did we first start noticing him? It was only after we were with Figured, like the tree guy, right?
I believe so, yes.
It's at least when the
Yes.
heads started appearing.
Sounds to me like you're dealing with a professional. If it was someone who hated your guts, he would be all up in your face in fury and passion. But maybe they're an assassin. Maybe they're contracted out. You got a bounty on your head?
I
No.
don't believe so. Didn't we manage to offend some unsavory characters on our way out of Lemoore?
Is that a question for me, the DM?
No, for my party members.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't.
I believe that's true.
Yeah, I mean, the what's the Onyx's group or whatever, the Onyx
Bronze.
didn't. The Bronze were pretty hostile towards us.
Do you think they'd send somebody all the way out here to the woodlands?
Probably. Maybe it was the Manticore. Maybe the Manticore knows some people.
Manticore. Well, you guys are busy going after bounties left and right. They pay good money for those things around here.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, a lot of beautiful
Wait a minute.
parts on those creatures for tonics and poisons.
We murdered that Manticore quite some time ago on our way out of Lemoore, and I don't think it had any friends. And otherwise, why was it staying in such an unpleasant place?
But it was worth a lot of money.
I wouldn't be too worried about a manticore making friends. Nah. See, manticores are solitary creatures and they take roosts. They're apex predators. They don't partner with anyone other than their own when they're coupling, all right? Now, if there was one roosting in Lemoore, man, that town's got problems. And I've never met a metropolis that didn't, but letting those kind of beasts take refuge, oof, that's something else entirely.
I think that was aided by the very hostile environment. But whoever's trying to kill us through the use of this Tengu, we may discover that when we kill this thing.
Well, hats off to you guys. Maybe there's more that you could scrounge if you find out who's hunting it. Maybe you can who's hunting you. Maybe you can figure out maybe this assassin's part of a group. Maybe you can buy them off. Maybe you can learn a little bit about their trade. Do a little bit of reconnaissance, if you know what I mean. At this time, you hear footprints from someone walking up behind you guys, and Wallabies come up and goes, "I'm sure, Rad Baxter, that you've been such a great host for my friends here, but since you're a guest yourself, please rest your weary voice and your feet. I'm sure you've had a lot of hard questioning about you, and I'm gonna be bringing my friends here to Rotherdyne, see if we can get themselves situated. Aside from that, I think we've got pressing matters with G. Is that not correct?"
Yes. Absolutely. Is G here?
Oh, she doesn't go too far from home. One of the Lishka Stardoon speaks back up and goes, She never treads too far from home. Down in the foundries, most likely, working on her trades. Well, lots to do. Many hard and fast due dates, so we mustn't tarry, but no rest for the wicked, as they say. As you guys start heading off, you can hear Wallaby just like, "Fucking Rad Baxter. It's always Rad Baxter."
Is his name supposed to be an alliteration on Rat Bastard? Because it kind of sounds like it.
It does sound like that bastard.
I mean, that's good in and of itself.
Especially with the pronunciation from Wallaby, it's got the actual S's. Rad Baxter.
No, I know, but it just sounds like it. It's like Rad Baxter, otherwise known as Rat
Bastard.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. Just take the credit. Just say, yeah, I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Rat Baxter, that rat bastard.
I don't believe his story about the wyvern. Do not.
I thought he seemed nice.
And he's a magnificent cook to top it all off. It's fucking annoying.
Like a true knight of the stories, you know?
Yeah. If he keeps carrying on, you'd think that he's one of the cloud marshals reincarnated.
I like him. He seems nice.
Yeah. Sickeningly nice. Whatever. He Wallaby takes a sip of his flasks to get through it. Well, we'll keep moving on. At least he didn't harass me too much this time. Puts his flask away. So, we really don't have much of a leader around here, but Rotherdyne is older and he's seen a lot in his time, and we all typically defer to him. So I'm going to introduce you guys before we move on forward. And, well, by the looks of it, we should have plenty of rooms open for you guys to take respite here for a little while. Leading you guys in, Wallaby goes and he goes into one of the smaller he goes into the main keep and then goes to, there's like 3 main towers that come up off of this wooden structure for the most part, and it's stone on the main floor, and then it's wooden off of that afterward. And he goes up to one of the towers, and following you guys, if you follow him, he goes up to the 2nd floor of one of the towers and knocks on a simple door, and you hear, one moment. And you hear the floorboards creak as a figure comes over and opens up the door. And inside you see a guy, an older, he's almost got a dwarfish looking face to him, a really big squat head on a powerful frame. But he's about 5'10". His hair is cut like a high and tight, and it's grayish silver, and he's got a very bull-esque face with a heavy brow, and you can see he's got. I picture him in your classic industrial era clothes, where you got like the suspenders and like a white tunic and like simple trousers, so to speak. And he's got his tunics rolled up about halfway up the arms, halfway up the forearms, and you can see that his hands are just covered in scars. And he kind of opens up the door and kind of blinks a little bit. Wallaby, well, you're a bit overdue for a visit. Good to see you too, old mate. And they go for a handshake. That's, they do like the forearm bro handshake thing for a moment, and then go in for a hug quick. I brought some guests. I can see that. A whole band of them. Wooland, it's a pleasure. He looks over his shoulder. What do we have the honor for what tribe do I have the honor of welcoming to my community today?
Hi, I'm Emery, from the Nintunga tribe.
Nintunga tribe?
Yes, far from home.
Far from home, well, maybe we have some answers and questions that we can trade.
Of course.
You, Ratton. You have, what home do you hail from? I'm Rothradine.
I get around. I was mostly near the Badlands, and, well, then we moved. But then we moved. But then we ended up... Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Ever on the move. More specifically, I was just looking to see clans.
They... If there's a choice between are and are not, they are not anymore. All dead. Dead. Mega dead. The deadest. I'm gonna stop talking.
He goes real sad and goes, I'm sorry, but there's nothing I can say to lighten a heavy heart. You are welcome at the Bracken Bastion for what little we can do for you.
You have food.
We have plenty of food.
Yes.
In fact, Brad Baxter is out with a spitted bear meat that it'll be some of the best eating now than it'll ever be. So feel free to help yourself. We also have plenty of other stores here. How about you, good sir? I see we have a Norn in our presence. Jotun blood itself.
Indeed.
Pleasure. He reaches
Nice to
up
meet you.
to shake your hand.
And in return, I shake his hand. Yes, I come from the north, seeking an elephant man with gold-capped tusks.
Oh, straight to business then. Well, I'm sure you'll find it easy to find such a character in these lands. For the Dajang typically do not travel far from the south.
Hmm.
No one else has seen it.
Now let's he kind of like steps out of the room and closes the door behind him. Let's go find a proper place to sit before we can carry on. Wallaby goes, yeah, let's have a squat on the up on the roof. Get a couple of hammocks involved, huh? And Rotherdwayne goes, oh, I almost forgot. And he walks back in and he grabs a jar and comes back out and he goes, it'll give me plenty of time to ply my balm anyways. And he leads you guys up to the top of the tower where there's like lounge chairs and stuff like that, since it's such a beautiful evening. And he starts opening up his jar slowly and goes, well, things around here have been pretty busy too. Wallaby goes, no shit! I had a good conversation with Watandulash, and it sounds like a whole war's about to break out. That's the first I've ever heard of such a thing. Well, that's a whole thing to unpack too, says Rothradine as he starts pulling some of this, like, it looks like lotion out, and he starts rubbing it into his forearms a little bit. You see him kind of wince and like start flexing his hands a little bit as he's doing this. Oh, so what's the first item of business? Wallaby goes, well, to be honest, I think that some of what we have to say that I have to say is probably left better with including our other guest. I assume that Jackal is still around. He is. Maybe perhaps I'll just pay him a visit while some of these guests here give you knowledge of the outside world, and you can return the favor. But it's nice catching up with you, Rotherdine. I will check in on you after I've had a chance to talk to Jackal. Very well. He continues to apply his balm on his arms as Wallaby takes his leave. Apparently off to talk to a person by the name of Jackal somewhere in the Bracken Bastion. I'll leave it to you guys. You had a couple of things that you started to ask about, and he said, "Let's get to somewhere comfortable instead of standing in this doorway." So you guys can ask him about anything. Otherwise, I'll just let you guys take the reins at this point.
Either of you want to go first, or should I?
Yeah, there's a expand on my question about the Daojang. It's a ship. The White Flow, I believe it is. Saying that name correctly.
The White Flow is the river that it went up.
Right. Yes, came up the White Flow, and was carrying some very large jewels, large gems. And wondering if you had heard any such word about a Daojang in the region of the Woodlands.
As you speak it. Sorry, I gotta change my voices around. There was some talk of maybe having seen tracks of a Daojang here in Sylvan territory, down in the feeding grounds, but the Redeemed that had talked about it had just mentioned it in passing. Now that you mention it, if there was a ship that came to the Woodlands, it most likely would have been a Mallow barge attempting to reach Lemoore. Have you checked Lemoore for this ship?
We were there only briefly before we needed to head off to the Woodlands. Had some disagreeable encounters with, I believe, the Bronze. And we have not had much time to check there, but it's the last scene.
So what I would say is that you were able to confirm that the title Leisure never made it to Lemoore, which that's just in your backstory.
Right, yeah. It's getting to where it had left off. The ship never made it to Lemoore. So stands to reason to me that if tracks were found all the way down here in the Woodlands, then the ship was likely wrecked somewhere near here in the Woodlands.
So if there's two things that you could look into from an old man's perspective. One is that as many of ships have gone before, someone brazen enough to attempt to sail into the woodlands, sail through the woodlands, would have contacted a wood ward and commissioned a Mallow barge to do so, but those are few and far between. And then they would have been able to make it safely to their destination of Lemoore. Otherwise, if they're fool enough to do it with some standard ship, The Flayoon tribe probably would have assaulted them, sacked their ship, and taken all of their goods. Either way, it seems that the Flayoon might have either killed your Dajong and all of the other occupants of the ship and taken all of their goods, or there's the most unassumed answer, which is that the Flayoon are working with the Dajong and actually requested him to come to the woodlands themselves. But I have never really heard of that from the Woolund, and judging by present company, these are strange times. Maybe Emery, was it?
Yes.
If you don't mind me asking, what purpose would you have to leave your wood?
I'm seeking to speak with G here, actually, of a personal matter.
My daughter.
Yes. I had been traveling with Artchek, if you happen to have known him. He knew G.
He knew him? He knew her?
Yeah, he's unfortunately no longer with us. The bronze killed him.
These are trying times. I'm sorry to hear. Ji will be heartbroken. My daughter typically, she goes, my daughter is one trained in the arts of calligraphy. Trained by the Kelligir dwarves of the Highlands themselves.
Oh.
I assume that that's what brought you this way.
That sounds correct, yes.
She's here. She's down below. Working in her laboratory, in her what's the word I'm looking for? Working in her workshop. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to fucking say.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll speak to her later. Thank you very much. Did you know Art?
Art was an acquaintance of mine, but he's a kindred soul to Wallaby. Not really much of a fighter, and still bright-eyed and bushy-tailed into the hopes of this world and getting his nose in things. Can't be too surprised that he's managed to put his nose in the wrong situation, unfortunately. But I was hoping that his patron would be able to insulate him from some of that.
Unfortunately, not this time.
Nope. The world is cruel. And that is why we do what we do.
When you say
Here.
patron, who is it that you speak of? Is Leanne?
Leanne and Shay. Yes.
Leanne
Archer.
and Shay, or Leanne and like I?
Leanne and Shay is one whole word.
Okay.
Leanne and Shay.
He had mentioned.
He spoke of her often and was very dutiful in his work for her.
He had wanted me to find her and report that he had, well, failed, I guess. I don't know if you would happen to know how I could even possibly reach her. I don't know anything about it. I just know the name.
That's probably a question for Jackold. He's a little bit more of our expert in locating the sapient around here. He's got some contacts. But Leanne Shay's a tough one to find if she doesn't want to be found. She's Fae.
Oh. Faye, huh? That's odd.
Can't hear you.
Sorry. Faye, huh? That's odd. I hadn't expected that, I suppose.
That's just the thing about Fae. It's a term we use for those things that we can't rightly categorize. She's never really done anything to bother us, though, and we haven't been able to really put a pin in her motives and whatnot, but can't quite rightly call her a profane either. Nor can we necessarily say she's something wholly natural.
Interesting.
But, Wallaby's off to talk to Jackal now, so whether or not you give him some space or whatnot, that might be the route for you.
Yeah.
Jackal doesn't necessarily talk to everybody, and he doesn't stick around very often. In fact, he just showed up not 2 days ago. Tends to act like that, working perfectly in some sort of coincidental world. Always stopping in just at the right time. I don't really understand it, but that's the djinn for you.
Jinn?
The world's a big, big place. Bracken Bastion doesn't seem like it's very popular these days, with a lot of ours being out and about, but we see a lot that most of the world never is graced with. Maybe I'm just getting a bit desensitized to it. All you really need to know is we got some allies amongst us. People who can figure some things out. So maybe we can help you, just once or twice.
Thank you.
Now that Da Zhang making his way up this way that says you're looking for him. If he's a friend of yours, I'm more than likely to believe that he's probably in some dire straits, but you go to the Flayun tribe and you might be able to figure out whether or not they've been taking a lot of slaves lately, working with the Tekeknu and trying to right some of this bloodwood stuff that's been going on. But I'd be careful with those folks. They're kind of testy right now.
I have no love in my heart for slavers, but I'm sure we can manage to pass through.
Yeah, and they have no love for intruders, so just remember that. Folks coming into the woodlands they consider to be poachers, defilers, and sometimes it's just a matter of the way you look at it. You might consider them slavers, but they consider it a blessing that they didn't kill you right then and there when you intruded on their land. So, merciful thing is to put you into work and give you a fair life. But remember, too, that they are responsible for the feeding grounds. That's the place of life or death, where what would break most heart in a civilized land like the slaughtering of lambs is the everyday there. And they're responsible for maintaining that balance. It may seem savage to you, but for them, it's about balance. This world's not all lollipops.
Oh, I'm well aware of that. What helps me survive in a very savage and unkind world is holding on to the things that keep me from being savage and unkind.
You put it right. You maintain yourself a solid spine and speak with respect and stand your ground. There's a lot that you can learn from the Flayun. There's a lot that they respect. So remember that. Besides, you can always make your way there in the Scylan territory and then use an ascent to get down to the ground floor. Do some reconnaissance first. Besides, it's not like no one's allowed.
have to keep that under advisement.
Anyways, you guys got any news of the outside world for an old man like me? How are things in Lemoore these days? How are things up in your wood, the Scab and the Gnarlwood?
Not so good up there, I'm afraid. Most of my tribe is gone, actually.
We are a sad sack.
Yeah. Taken by a group of Onyx.
One thing to know, just so that you're aware, is that you were from a village of the Nintanga, but that was one village
Okay.
of all of, yeah, so it's not like all of the Nintanga are gone, just so that way for world
That-
immersion that you're aware of that.
That helps, thank you.
But for you, everyone you knew got taken. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's your world that was taken.
Yeah, they were taken by a group of Onyx and a vampire, actually, either killed or enslaved by her. So her name was
Ugh.
Ephemera. I don't know if you've ever heard of her.
Spit on the vampire. They're the worst of the world. Unfortunately, some of the most dangerous, too. If they've got a hand in what's being dealt up that way, you could find yourself some allies amongst the Isuelu. Vampire, all take on different aspects. You happen to know which profane she's beholden to?
I'm honestly, I don't even know what the word profane means.
Oh, honey. Wretch, can you help her out? You ever deal with the profane in your line of work?
Lord, like, real talk for the DM. Profane are they a specific race or something, or are you just talking about like literally profanity?
Profane are a specific type of creature, but based off of your conversations with Emery and with Ilya so far, I think that your character is misguided in this and probably wouldn't be familiar with it. But he can enlighten you guys.
Okay. Then I will respond with, no idea.
All right. You guys hear your folklore and what goes bump in the night. Ghosts and ghouls. Ghosts and demons. See, the thing is that there's a balance to this world. And the Woodlands does a fair respect in showing you guys that balance. Every now and then, carnivore sinks its fangs into an herbivore's neck, drags it from on high, and eats it in the feeding grounds. Is that wrong? Or is that the circle of life? It's the circle of life. Our world is filled with harsh realities. But some things go too far. Some things are outside of the circle of life, outside of the designs of the artists, the gods of this world. They put in parameters to base our suffering from, so it wouldn't be too much. But there are creatures not from this world. They come, permeating it and meddling in it and hoping to make our lot in this life worse. And those are the profane. So when the folks in these woodlands start talking about war and fighting amongst each other and what the Tekeknu are doing and etc., you just remember that that's all part of Black Phillip's plan and the other artists, of us allowing natural discourse amongst each other for passions to rise and fall. But what the profane do is warp this world, taint it, destroy it. You guys heard of the Yao Gai, the monsters that destroyed the old world back when it was so-called Utica. That was all. Sorry, what was that?
Continue. Nothing.
Those boogeymen are all the hand of one profane dabbling in this world. Some of them are bigger and some of them are smaller. But they're alien beings coming here to warp our world and pervert it. Those are the profane. Interlopers that destroy and corrupt. So we hunt them. And unfortunately, not everyone does. We've got some allies, especially amongst the Night Jinn, and the Cloud Marshals and all the other knights that used to be. Hell, even some folks like you and Rad Baxter come by looking to make things just a little bit brighter. And then there are those that follow in the footsteps of the profane, looking to heighten themselves at the cost of this world. They spew things like nether magic into this world, destroying it and decaying it. Their chief followers are fallen brethren of ours. We used to consider them close siblings like you, the Walund. They're cousins of ours, the Vampire.
Gasp.
That's sad to hear, I suppose. It sounds nasty. So you would perhaps hunt something like that, a ephemeria?
We've made it our life's journey to stop those types of creatures. For if no one does, this world will not be recognizable in scant generations. Ephemeria, that's the name of the vampire you're chasing.
Yes, and she had, thralls, and there was things about blood, and she was controlling them or something, I don't know.
We can take a look into some of our records. We've got scrolls kept below. We can scour the library and pull what we know of the creatures that deal with the blood of the living. And so you mentioned blood, and what else did you mention?
Thralls. Like,
Thralls.
controlling people.
I can see what we can pull. I've got a few others who are a little bit more attuned to what to those habits around here. My eyes aren't what they used to be, but it's good clerical work for someone with a bad back. None of your guys is concerned. I took a hit from a boulder from an ogre back in the day, and it never quite healed right.
Oh my.
Sounds
So-
thoroughly unpleasant.
It's okay. The sorry, one second. The balm that Enoch makes is rather amazing, so it takes off the brunt of the problems here.
Well, you should see what this guy can do. I was, like, dead yesterday. And look at me! Not even one hole!
He kind of looks you up and down once more, and clearly you didn't do that with no medicinal knowledge. That's impossible, even with our best apothecaries. To what do you owe your skills, wretch?
Dahlia and her wonderful teachings. Also our nice conversations. A little bit of finger wiggling. The usual, I guess.
Well, I'll be. We have ourselves a channeler in front of us. There's not too many of you out there. Well,
Oh no. That's a
you just
shame.
keep doing your Lord's work. We'll try to fill in the spaces between with the things that they can't always be vigilant toward.
All right. Deal. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to talk to him about? Sorry. You guys, as you guys have been talking, the evening, the sun sets, and as it starts to set, Rotherdine speaks up. Well, if we're gonna be staying outside any longer, we might as well get some timbers for starting a fire to keep us warm. Otherwise, we can go inside and I'll show you your rooms while we wait for Wallaby to finish up his conversations with Jackaled.
Well, I would maybe I'll go and catch Wallaby at this point, and maybe he can make an introduction.
All right. Well, I can I'll show you over there that way. And as you guys head out, Rotherdine shows you guys first to your rooms that you have available for the evening, before leading you guys toward out and into the courtyard, and goes, normally we keep the guests separate just in case. There's never, you can never be too careful with things that go bump in the night. And as I mentioned with the vampire, we've made some enemies in the past with profane and whatnot. So, hope you guys don't mind, but you're going to be kept in one of the warded towers.
Yay!
Sure.
We'll allow the locals to decide.
Well, this one's going to be for you guys over here. You can have the whole place. The structure's empty and it's fully furnished. But Jackal's over in the other. So Jackal and Wallaby are across the courtyard in that other building just yonder. So if you need to bother him, go ahead. But I'll leave you guys to it, and I'll start getting a fire started. If you need to talk to G, she's probably done in her workshops, usually around this hour. So usually we try to have dinner together as father and daughter. But you're all welcome to join. You can tend to run out of things to talk about, and it's always great to have extra voices in the conversation.
Yeah.
So he leaves. Is anyone going to the tower that he gestured that Wallaby is at with Jackaled? Okay.
Did you say try to find Wallaby and the meetings in with Jackaled?
Wallaby is meeting with Jackaled in one of the towers that Rotherdine pointed to. I'm just saying if you guys are going to go over there. Sarah mentioned yes. Is anyone else going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? It's a party.
I just gotta pull up.
We're not gonna split.
No, Sean Connery seems to know what's going on with this place, and I don't. So I'm gonna just find him.
Yeah, I don't want to be lonely.
Alright, I just gotta pull up something here. So... as you guys start up the stairs, do you guys make any notion to be stealthy, or do you announce your presence?
Well, I'm not being
as you guys
stealthy.
Okay, as you guys open up the door towards the tower, you guys can hear it's like a winding staircase upward, and you guys can as you approach, you guys can start to hear bits of conversation from up above. I just wanted to know if you guys are gonna like try to eavesdrop, or if you guys are just gonna like, go up there and.
I was just gonna walk in and say hello. Try not to interrupt. Knock, maybe.
Okay. So you don't really catch what they're talking about as you make your way up, other than you hear something about Jackal saying, "No, the plan is still in motion." But and as he says, but you knock on the door. Do you say anything?
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but is now a good time?
Oh well. Oh, Emery, it's sure.
I
Of
can
course.
always
Is
come back
there something
later.
you need? He opens the door. Is there something you need?
I was hoping to talk to Jackal and hoping you could make an introduction, but we can always come back later if you're in the middle of something.
Oh. And you hear Jackal. So Jackal is a gentleman with a long brown trench coat. And it's got like one of like those like duster tops to it. And he appears to have like cotton gloves with the fingertips cut off. He's got like dark-haired shortcut sideburns and like dirty blonde hair that's about yay long. And he doesn't really have. He's got like 6 o'clock shadow to go along with the sideburns, and he's got relatively like, how would I say it, like really tan skin, but he doesn't look like he's like really weather worn. He's still rather like handsome, like maybe like close to like Australian type sort of tanned. And he's pretty tall, and it's still a bit of a lean figure, not quite as tall as Ilya. So he's probably maybe like 6'1", 6'2", something like that. He looks past Wallaby and goes, "Oh, come in. Make yourself at." And he kind of looks around the space, and it's like this small single cell, so to speak, of a space. And he goes, "Home. Sorry, I don't really have one of those, but mi casa e su casa."
But wait, is it actually a cell or is it just like the
No,
size
it's
of one?
it's a small room. It's like a children's room size. Like it's like a like a 10-foot by 10-foot square, something like that.
Okay.
And it's got two stone cutout windows on the sides of the tower.
Okay. Just making sure, because that would add some context.
Yeah, no, these are singles rooms, so to speak, and the staircase keeps going on around, so that it's like a kitty corner for the windows are kitty corners, so like each room is staggered as it goes up, so they have two sources of light, anyways. But there's enough space for everyone to go in, and all the doors are unlocked, and they're reinforced heavy doors, but they don't seem to have like he wasn't locked in there or anything. Jackal, this is Emery, and also Wretch, and down the we got company. Go ahead, just go ahead, keep filing in, guys. Just keep filing in. And then this tall one here, this is Ilya that I was trying to tell you about. Oh, a Norn. Well, great, glad to have you guys, and a Ratton. All right.
He's all here.
The gang's all here. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course. Pleasure's all mine. What can I do for you? Just passing through. I'm not really one for all this Ace of Wayloon stuff that they've been doing around here.
Oh, well,
You're mute.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah, every now and then you just like you go mute for some reason.
I don't know
what it is.
why. Okay. Well, Rathradine? I think that's how you said his name.
Yeah, Rothradine.
Rothradine said that you were good at finding people, I suppose. And well, one of my friends was how do I put this? Before he passed, he asked me to take a message to the patron that he served. Her name was Leanne Shea.
You see this like big smile spread on Jackal's face, and Wallaby's like kind of chuckles a little bit too, and
That's
Jackal
never
goes,
good.
"Sorry, but we were just talking. Continue. Sorry,
What?
Leanne and Shay. Yeah,
What do you mean? Is
I
there
can't hear you
something?
again.
Is there
There
something
you go.
funny about that, or I'm sorry, I don't know much about her.
If I might skip over a few steps, it sounds like you're going to be asking me if I can help you find Leanne and Shay. And while normally I pride myself on knowing people and locations, he kind of puts an arm over Wallaby. My information has to come from somewhere, and I was thinking the same thing.
Oh,
And kind of like pats Wallaby on the chest. If you're interested in finding Leanne and Shay too, might as well work together. Add it to the to-do list.
oh. You're looking for her too?
I can't hear you. Is she cutting out for you guys too?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
That's so weird because I'm not cutting out for the stream.
Weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Jeremy just said that he can hear me, so I don't know.
All right. Well, everyone on Discord sometimes has problems hearing you.
Weird.
Interesting.
Okay.
But wait, okay, so it is a Discord issue because your PC is the one the stream's getting run off of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just using your mic's direct input. Weird.
Yeah, it should be the same. I'll double check.
Gotcha.
but- Yeah, it says it's using the same mic. I don't know. Okay. I don't remember what I was gonna say now. You're
Sorry
looking
about
for
that.
two for I think I already asked that, didn't I?
For the Andrew.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, yeah, I think it would be nice for Wallaby to have a couple conversations with Leanne and Shay. Figure out just what her agenda is here. But yeah, if you guys are looking for her and he's looking for her, then well, feel free. I mean, I don't need to get involved, says Jackal.
All right. What good are you, Jackal? But what if you want to get involved?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm way too busy. I've got a lot on my plate. I'm just passing through.
Busy as a beaver.
He's busy as a beaver.
Didn't you want him to stop quoting that?
Not that.
Oh, okay.
That's different.
He doesn't
Internet
consider that
crap.
internet trash.
No.
All right. All right.
For some reason. Well, thank you very much. I can leave you both to your own devices again, and
That's okay. If you're, that seems easily settled. Albie goes, I'll see you guys downstairs in the main chamber for dinner this evening. Right? Does it sound good?
Yeah,
sure.
I like food.
I also
All right,
like
then.
food.
All right then. Let me have a little conversations with my friend here and catch up a little bit.
Okay.
So we're leaving?
Yeah.
Okay. Once we're out of earshot, so any issues with us getting out of earshot, Mr. DM?
No.
Once you get out of earshot, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that one. Something was going on there.
It's a little awkward, right?
Something clandestine, something bigger than us.
Hmm.
Excuse me. I think we'll chalk it up to us that not being our business quite at the moment.
Suppose
Eh.
that's fine.
Can't hear you, Sarah.
Just said I suppose that's fine.
Hmm. All right. But I'm uncomfortable.
As
And I
am
will-
I. As am I.
I mean, is there anything we can do about it?
Hmm. I suppose not. We are kind of out and about. Hard to make new enemies when we have. I'm gonna check like a piece of parchment. A lot.
Yes, that is a very fair assessment.
So, to reiterate on like your guys' original deal, your original deal was to get Emery to G,
Yeah.
get Wallaby to the Bracken Bastion, so effectively to get him to Jackold,
Yeah.
and to get Ilya to the boat that he's looking for, or the Dajong that he's looking for, and to get Wretch out of town. So you guys are not contractually beholden to like going and finding Leanne and Shay
Yeah.
specifically.
No, I am contractually obligated to find some crying trees, though.
Correct.
Well, that's true.
And I keep trying to keep us all on track, but nobody besides Wretch wants to find any gosh darn crying trees.
So at this point, it's late at night. You have not talked to G yet.
Yep, I was
Um,
gonna go meet G next. Because it's not dinner yet.
It's dinner time.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I was gonna go meet them for dinner. The daddy and
Okay.
his daughter.
Okay. And then maybe after that conversation, we talk about your guys' different quests that you guys have, because it's like I think there's a lot of the side plots that are starting to like you guys are pretty well informed at this point, and it's just a matter of you guys as a party deciding what you value and what you want to cling to. As the what you must do is starting to go away, and it's turning into what you want to do. So, anyways,
Right.
They're
So
looking
we're
for
gonna go-
Leanne and Shin to find your crying trees. You may have missed that part.
nope. The Timberman told you guys where you could find the crying trees.
Okay.
Yeah, which was like between the Bracken Bastion and Paratizzi. It's close to here.
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2 days away.
For the stream's sake, can we pull up the map on Roll20 while we talk about this?
Absolutely.
Also for my sake, but if I'm confused, I know there's some people that will be confused.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, the trees we need are between the Bracken Bastion and Paratisium.
Yes.
Okay, so further south, kind of on the trail we've been going.
Yep. And each one of those squares is effectively it's 2 days of travel in the woods,
Okay.
more or less.
Okay.
Sorry, where? Is it like here?
Roughly speaking. Yeah, I've got it's Because you don't just travel as the crow flies in this. I've got it written down. They gave you instructions like past the old oak and blah 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 sort of thing,
Yeah.
which I have written down. But more or less, I can tell you guys more about that if we really wanted to get into the nitty gritty. But it's like 2 days away. You have to follow one of the mountain ranges and keep that in your line of sight until you see a certain tree, and that tree will lead you down to the thicketlands where you will find the weeping willows, or more specifically, they said that the weeping willows will find you when you get that close.
Yeah.
That's not ominous at all.
No.
Big fan of how that was worded.
Right?
The weeping willows will find you.
Gonna take him a while being at the rodent in place.
How do you know? How much of this has gone as far as you would have thought it had gone? All right. We're in unknown territory now, Dustin.
We have actually met a mobile tree, so that just throws my theory out the window.
Yep. Take that.
You should feel bad. How dare you have a theory? All right. I'm done. I'm done harassing Dustin.
All right, so
You're gonna
we'll
talk to
go
G?
meet them for dinner, G and.
Okay.
Or if it's too late to meet them for dinner, I'll catch G after dinner. I don't know.
No, it's not too late. You just went up here, had a 10-minute conversation, and left again. So, is the AC is still not too loud for you guys in the background?
Mm-mm.
I don't
can't
even
hear
hear
it
the
all.
AC.
Okay, because it is just booming in here. I'm like, holy crap. Okay, good to hear. No pun
We aren't
intended.
picking it up at all.
Okay, so you guys head to. It looks like everyone has decided to eat in the courtyard, and it looks like there's a secondary fire that was made near the spit pit, where pots were set up, and there was a what's that, a kettle for broths and stews and stuff like that set up, and someone set up a small bench, and they put out a keg, and everyone's kind of having food and eating around the fire, so to speak. So there's 3 fires essentially. One with the cooked meat on it. There's a couple of picnic tables. There's one fire with a cauldron over the top of it, and then there's another fire just for people to gather around, so to speak, as everyone sits out to relax on a relatively nice evening. Amongst the crew, you find the several of the Asuelun that you'd met previously, and so there's probably about 10 people in total before you guys, between Wallaby and Jackaled, and actually there's probably about 15 other folks. You see most of them are of fair pink skin and knife ears, so to speak. But other than that, there's not a unifying trend amongst them. But you do see Rotherdine sitting next to what looks to be a woman in probably her mid-40s, very short of stature. She appears to have what I would consider to be a classic Japanese characteristics to her facial features. Still though with the characteristics of the Asuelun as far as skin tone goes. So a little bit smaller, but otherwise she's featuring a lot of the same features as her father as far as like a much broader face. And she's sitting there eating a bowl of stew that seems to have some of the cooked meat put into it. And she appears to be in she's pretty dirty. It looks like she's washed her hands and her face, but otherwise she's got marks from like several different types of dyes and several different types of alchemical spills on her clothes. And she's even got like over her blouse, you can actually see the outline of an apron that she must have been wearing, something a little bit more stout that she had put aside before coming back up this way. And so you can see like this like clean apron imprint over her blouse. It's got like scorch marks on it here and there, and she's washed her arms up to her elbows.
Feel right at home.
So as you guys dish yourself up some stew, just tell me what you guys do for the night, as far as anyone that you engage with, as you have yourself a meal and whatnot.
I'm gonna go I'm gonna hang out with the company of Rat Bastard for a while.
Okay. One thing that you actually give me, yeah. As you talk to them, one thing that you notice amongst them is that this group, while there seems to be no love lost amongst them, one thing that you do notice is that they're a rather competitive, surly lot. Whether or not they're just naturally like brother sort of dispositions, it seems to be a little bit more beyond that. There's a little bit of one-upping going on. And as you eat your food, something that occurs to you is that you're eating bear, which is not necessarily a common thing either. And so some of this stuff just kind of starts to like sit in on you. Was it Ilya that had a characteristic trait recently added, or was that someone else?
Characteristic trait.
Yeah, someone was given a faint nuisance characteristic added to their...
That was me.
Oh, it was you? Okay. What were you given again?
Restless.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay. I'm just trying to keep that in mind as we continued. But anyways, how about you, Ilya?
I have my path set before me. I think we can talk to the Flayun somehow along the way, but Emery's mission is more time sensitive than mine, or more clearly time sensitive than mine is. So I think I'm just going to rest and relax.
Nice.
Chilling.
You earned it.
Yeah.
You're not bleeding from very many orifices right now. That's nice.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, actually. Where is your sword right now? And does it have a scabbard?
Oh, that's a question that's always ending well.
Yeah, it does indeed have a scabbard, and it is on me.
Okay.
End of question.
That's it. I was out of curiosity because the magic that your dad would have used to make that is calligraphy. It's the art of enchantment, amongst other things. And so just because we have a calligrapher amongst the group, I wasn't sure if that was just going to organically come up or not. That's all.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calligraphy is using script to make magic and enchant things and imbue them with magic. So I just figured I'd mention that.
Well, now that I know, I'm going to ask: did we add, or did you add to the description for that weapon the ability to recall it?
Yes, it's you have the ability to recall your. Sorry, not like, just so you're aware, it's not like Thor's hammer that it can like zoomp to your hand. It's more that the weapon has a magical property that makes it so that way it's veritably indestructible. Either through the fact that if you lose it, somehow it'll show up again, or if it's destroyed, it'll show up again, or it can't be destroyed, or you can't lose it. There's just an aspect to it that makes it so that way you can't ever lose it. It's your signature weapon. However, what I would say though is that that's more storyline and less so, like that's not something that's gonna be like canonically imbued on the blade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more of a artifact of the story. What makes your weapon magical is the fact that it can like cut through stone. Like it's super sharp. But you actually don't know much more than that about how it's enchanted, what the script actually means, that sort of stuff. You just know this is a good sword.
I think I'm gonna get educated and talk to Ji and ask her, like, what can you tell me about my sword? It was my father, and I do not know much about magic, and I have quite a poor experience with it.
Yeah, so let's take this from the top actually, because she hasn't met you, and I know that we've got a couple other people who wants to introduce themselves to this character as well. So let's just go from the top and organically have this conversation. I think would be the best route.
And I'm still over with Rat Bastard, right?
So, yep,
Okay.
you're gonna be over there, and knowing knowing what she does for work, you approach her with Emery. Stew in hand, I assume.
Of course.
Rotherdine looks up at you guys. There's seats available at them, and he kind of just gestures. Well, G speaks up. Go on. Well, we don't bite. It's nice to see some new faces around.
Hello, I'm Emery.
And
Emery.
I'm Ilya.
May I
I'm G,
sit?
and she reaches out for your hand. It's a pleasure.
Nice
Oh.
to meet you.
Anything to get this this young spirit over here up and out of the kiln rooms.
What are the...
Killing rooms?
Kiln rooms.
Oh, I was like,
That's different.
goodness.
Much different.
Quite the opposite around here. I tend to avoid the killing and stick to some of the more studious work around here. I heard, Emery, was it? You were
Yes.
interested in some of the scrolls. I have a friend looking in on it now. He should be able to find what you're looking for in probably a day.
That's
Sorry,
great.
but there's a lot to go through to pick out the specifics that you were asking for.
That's just fine. I appreciate you guys looking into it. I know it was an odd request.
Oh, don't you worry about it. So, I hear the gnarlwood is uniquely beautiful. Tell me about your guys' homelands.
Thank you. It is rather lovely, but nothing in comparison to this. Everything's so much bigger here.
Oh, besides, isn't
Strange.
everything? I hear you guys get the stars like you wouldn't believe, especially up in the Winterlands. Is that right, Ilya?
Yes, it is quite pristine and beautiful at night.
Stellarium, I've always wanted to study it. It's said that you can, even Jackal said that you can learn a lot from stargazing up and judging the Stellarium for the artists that you can pinpoint amongst them dancing and fighting in the sky at night.
Oh, that's so neat.
What was that?
I just said that's so neat. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
That's
neat.
pretty neat. That's
Yeah.
gosh darn neat.
Yeah, and
That's pretty neat.
you guys get much longer night fades. Must be pretty hard on the body to go without sun for so long, praise Ada.
It can be, but we persevere. We are a hardy folk.
Oh, I bet. You'd have to be surrounded by all the profanes. We've actually thought about potentially setting up a new fort up that way, but with iridescence already up that way. Iridescence already up that way. It doesn't necessarily make sense for us to split ourselves apart. Our numbers are low as we speak.
Iridescent, you say?
Mm. Jackal speaks from across the fire. Just a myth, just a myth. Land of legend.
I met a tree person the other day, and a bird that can make itself invisible killed my friend, and then she stood right back up because my Paladin of Dahlia friend over there healed her up really quickly. So the borders between myth and reality are really quite thin for me.
we're learning all kind of stuff out here.
Yeah.
So Ilya, you would actually know about iridescence. Iridescence is known to be the court of night, the fabled gathering place of the night jinn, who are the watchmen of the Winterlands, essentially. But it goes more than that. There is some strange fear that your people had of the night jinn, because sightings of a night jinn are usually followed by or coupled with something bad that happens. And so sometimes they're considered to be heralds of ill fortune or of things that go bump in the night, but others ascribe them to be protectors.
Would we be able to tell if Jackal was a night djinn?
At first, you'd have to be able to ask yourself, does your character know what a night djinn is, even if you're to be able to look upon him? Now, I need you to make me a knowledge people or knowledge dark check.
First free blow of the night. It's an RP session, purely. I got 2 and 3.
I thought this would be 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Night jinn are said to have bright, almost sickly white skin, like that of a fresh Word doc paper, so to speak, with black eyes and black hair. And looking at Jackaled, he looks like a drifter. He looks like a drifter surfer boy.
Yeah.
Like a drifter. He looks like a drifter surfer boy.
Yeah.
That being said, knowing what you do about the Night Djinn, the stories of them are very similar to like our stories of Odin, in the sense that they're known to be people that walk in the old world. They're known to be people who walk amongst us and hear the stories and listen to the dreams and the nightmares of people. And then sometimes they bring those prayers, they bring those dreams and those nightmares to a god in order to make them come true or in order to make them disappear.
Wait a minute. Odin, and he looks like a drifter? You've got my attention now.
So, to someone from the old world, you wouldn't be able to know if you looked at him straight up, if you actually saw what you would see. The tales say that sometimes in direct moonlight, a night djinn can be seen for their true form, though it would be hard for you to remember it the next morning. And in reverse, in direct sunlight, a light djinn might be able to be seen for but a brief moment, but you would doubt it upon yourself as maybe just a play of the light.
Just kidding. Cool.
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 So a nitrogen has similar camouflage properties of the thing we're talking about.
No,
Okay.
they have what's the word I'm looking for?
Illusion?
Kind of like illusions, but there's another word for it.
You use it with like fairies a lot.
Yeah.
Glamours.
Glamours. They have glamours. They look like normal people because of illusions.
All right. Just making sure.
Whereas the other thing looked not to be there because of illusions.
I see.
Well, thanks for telling me a little bit about where you guys have been. I normally don't get out very often. So is there a reason why we have folks from all over the old world and all the way up from the Winterlands to grace our presence here at the Bracken Bastion? I hope all is well. Normally people don't come to the Bracken Bastion because all is well.
Well, I suppose that is the case for me. But maybe, perhaps you and I could talk privately after dinner.
Oh, goodness.
A lot of secrets in this camp. Wallaby's got secrets. Emery's got secrets. Just saying, we used to be friends.
Oh, by the way, I've never liked coleslaw. Throwing that one out there.
We just had coleslaw. Literally everyone else on this call had coleslaw yesterday.
Nope.
Not a big fan of coleslaw either. But
You guys didn't put coleslaw on your chicken sandwich?
I put it on my chicken sandwich.
It was great on the Oriental chicken sandwich.
I just had chicken and bun because I'm a man of principles. If I don't like something, that's it. That's the end of that discussion.
Yeah, it's situational for me. It's always situational for me.
I'm not a fan of creamy coleslaw. I've only ever had it from KFC or from what my mom made or like bought from Super One. But I do have my own recipe that's like shredded cabbage with kind of a vinaigrette, but it's not the rich creamy stuff.
Yeah, I grew up with the more tart coleslaw. It's like more pickly almost.
Yeah.
That stuff's nice. The creamy stuff is like, what'd you do to it? You monsters.
Yeah,
I think it's a Midwest thing.
Yeah.
I don't like the taste of coleslaw too much, but it is mostly the texture that gets me. Maybe if it was warm, but like I don't like creamy, liquidy things when they're cold. I don't know. It's just kind of like a
pudding.
Yeah.
Would you like it to be roughly dog-mouthed warm when you eat it?
Would that make it better?
You could probably eat the same ingredients if they were like a casserole. Like if you just didn't tell me it was coleslaw and you just like pulled it out of the oven, you're like, it's this. I could maybe choke it down.
It's all it is Oriental chicken salad, but congealed.
I also don't like chicken salad, so what do you want from me?
What do you want
Prove me wrong.
This is getting hostile.
This is a hostile work environment.
Yeah.
All right, speak your piece. Otherwise, I'm gonna have G give you guys the 21 questions game as she plies you guys for your backstory.
Hey, I was just wondering what you thought about my sword. If you could tell me something about that, because I know only that it is very sharp.
As you say that, Rad Baxter speaks up a little bit. Sorry, actually not Rad Baxter. It's the other one. Sorry, one second.
Odin.
Inox speaks up for a second. He goes, "What kind of party are we having here? Meet up with the group. Meet up after the group dispels after night. Take a look at my sword. I swear, you get a few new stock into this place, and we turned it up to 11." I hear a couple of cat calls in the back. She goes, I'm always looking to I'm always looking for a chance to be able to evaluate another's work. Sure, of course. And she I guess if you're handing it to her, she reaches out to take it.
Yes. but carefully. It
Yeah.
is very nice.
She takes a look at the sword. Huh. Kind of like holds it out, looks at the pommel specifically. Wow. Hmm. And how did you come across this?
My father had an obsession with magical smithing and enchantment, and before he was taken off by the Onyx, the Sons of Zen? Let's see here. The Affiliates of Zion. What is this? Sons of Zen?
Sons of Yin are the group that was supposedly the ones that the Dajang was hired to work for.
Okay, I'm getting my wires crossed. Yes, the Affiliates of Zion took my father away because he owed them some substantial debts, and because he couldn't fund his own experiments, and so he passed the sword down on to me, and it's the only good thing I ever got from the man.
How do you really feel?
I have to say, the story's almost in the blade itself. Looking at it, the enchantment's not what I would expect, or a route that I would ever go. It's unique, and I'm sorry, but it is a beautiful work. Don't get me wrong. The enchantment that's written here demands sacrifice. It feeds from it. It's emboldened by it.
So, does that mean sacrifice from other people? Like, when I kill, I get stronger, or?
No. It's the wielder. And judging by the power in it, I can only imagine that either you've suffered in your life greatly, or your father. This is with the energy that's imbued with it. I can only imagine. It's not written perfectly. I can see a few areas that bleed magic, but it's a fine sword. Normally when I write in script, I use some source of the potentia to drain, to transfer to the blade. But if your father wasn't a wealthy man, then I'm sure he wasn't familiar with this aspect to it. The quality of the enchantment demands, how would I put it? Enchantment doesn't come from nothing. It's taking what energizes this world and puts it and draws it into one location, but it must come from somewhere. I fear your father may have inadvertently caused his own downfall with his own will to enchant this blade.
Oof.
Such is the tragedy of my father's ambition.
But the way you wield it will determine the value of his sacrifice.
No pressure, dude. God. Come on, John. Oh man, I got this cool new sword. Yeah, your dead dad is in this sword, and make it proud. Daddy's watching.
Yeah,
Dad might not be dead. You don't know that.
only mostly dead.
What's going on with you people and having mostly dead family members?
Look who's
Dad is
talking,
dead.
dude. You killed your whole tribe in your backstory. Well, you didn't kill them, but you know what I mean. That's a lot of fingers pointing back at you.
What is that? What is that subtle drop of knowledge?
You killed all of them.
I
Wait,
just got
no.
a spoiler. Like,
What I meant was that Austin killed all of them.
Damn it. We have a different memory of my backstory.
You know, it was a wacky coincidence. He swapped the bottle of soy sauce label with the rat poison label, and he was too embarrassed to tell anybody.
Why did the rats have rat poison?
That's
For the
what
little-
they were wondering.
I really know how to party. That's why.
So just so that I don't forget, Dustin, this is something that your character might be able to consider now having this information for the next combat that you do. You can attempt to bleed yourself with your weapon. Take one, use a maneuver to take 1 point of damage with it to get your first use of your breach trait for free without spending a story point.
So,
I'm sure it won't have lasting consequences.
so I'm basically be able to bust somebody's weapon as long as I cut myself?
You can buff your own weapon if you cut yourself with it, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Currently, I'm not making a god out of anybody. I'm sitting over here with the rat bastard, just eating some bear meat and listening to probably exaggerated tales.
Yeah. Here's a thought: if the wyvern flies, right? So it can probably glide. I mean, I'm guessing. So if he killed it, I mean, be a big old glider. Just throwing that one out there.
There you go.
Oh, by the way, in his story, he said that he convinced it perfect this guy is.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like, the meat on this bear. Normally, people don't eat bears because of a couple of many reasons, right? Like you don't eat tigers and stuff like that. But so it's a respect thing on the whole animal hierarchy. But also, it's not the best meat. But this came out perfect. It's amazing.
Yeah, as a player, I recognize that this guy's a douchebag. But like Wretch is almost trusting to a fault. And he's definitely like, this guy's pretty great. I like this guy. So when I got the opportunity, I'm like, well, I hate him, but Wretch doesn't, so Wretch is gonna go talk to that cool guy again.
Wow.
Ooh, oh boy.
Well, it's getting late. And at this point, people starts to retire for the night.
Well, okay. So the room's clearing out a bit, and I just I hope it's not a bother. Gee, I don't know if. Well, how cleared out is the room? Is it?
So it looks like there's a couple left. It looks like Jackal is taken to playing like low strums on a lute at one of the fires, and it's kind of more of a background thing. And Wallaby's gone to bed for the night, as well as like most of the faces that you weren't familiar with, and Rad Baxter as well, with a couple of his henchmen, so to speak.
Oh.
Did your father?
Unless Wretch wanted to have a conversation with him before we were done with that.
I was just gonna try to impress him. I was gonna see if I could like roll to tell him some stories of my time on the trail, because I was a wandering healer, and see how he reacted to any of that news.
Oh yeah, give me a presence check.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, give me a. I guess a presence would be charming, a charm check.
Yeah, because like, I mean, I haven't slain wyverns by just convincing them I'm not worth the effort, but I have, you know. Oh, I came upon some stone orcs, and they weren't supposed to be stone, if you get my meaning, and then I got them back to regular orcs. You know, basic medical bullshit tales. All right, charm. Aha! I put a point in this last time I leveled up, so I have a yellow and green.
Nice.
I'm gonna be charming as fuck. Yeah. Not 1 and 2, 3. It's just 3 now.
3 now.
3 now.
Goes, oh man, if I could lay down my sword and shield and take up the robes, I'd follow you in a heartbeat, wretch. See what I do in this world, ours here, each and every one of us. Me, Hanubo, sorry, me. He goes through some of his henchmen and he goes, each and every one of us, our story's a tragedy. We follow tragedies, and we dispatch vengeance. You give men, the men of this world, the sapient, you give them hope. That's beautiful. Hats off to you, man.
Listen, I love me, but I don't love me half as much as that guy loves me, and that's kind of weird. So he needs to tone it down by like 50%. All right. I digress. Yeah, then aside from that, we just had our dinner, and when he went to bed, I went to bed too.
So, I don't know if your father told you the news,
The news?
About Art. Archek.
She kind of looks over at her father. He kind of looks over and goes, go on, I figured she'd have lots of questions and waiting an hour or two, and hearing this news on an empty stomach isn't something worth it.
So back up in my forest, I met Art. He helped me when my tribe was being taken by the vampire that I'm having you research into, and well, my brother was going to be taken by them, but Art said that was a fate worse than death, and what he did instead was, well, complicated, I guess, but my brother's not here physically, but he is still here spiritually. And the thing is that he and I were heading this way together. We were gonna try to find you, actually, but on our way here, we stopped in Lemoore, and he was attacked by what are they? I'm so sorry. The
Onyx?
The Onyx, the group of Onyx.
The Bronze.
They were attacked by the Bronze, and he was killed.
Her face goes morose, and she even her lips start to quiver, and she starts to cry a couple of tears. She doesn't vocally sob or anything like that, but you can see it does hit her hard. And she kind of wipes her nose a little bit.
I'm kind of crying too.
Yeah.
Yeah, just crying together. It's why we didn't want the room to be so crowded when I said this. Okay.
Yeah. Did he have someone there for him?
I was not with him at the end, but I did see him before he passed through the veil, so to speak.
What? She doesn't quite understand.
It's complicated. So, you know what's the word for, like, the
Potentia?
dream? I guess I speak of the Potentia where we go to dream, or where spirits may linger before they pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I spoke to him there, and that's where my brother is, too. But
You're a dreamwalker.
I don't know. I guess so.
He's not stuck there? He's not stuck in the Potentia?
Art has passed on.
Black Phillip carried him on
Yes.
over to the next turn.
Yep. He was disappointed that he felt as if he had failed Leon Shea, but he wanted me to pass that news to her.
He was one of Black Phillip's best servants, if you ever ask me. But Leanne and Shay, she too couldn't have had a better follower.
You say he serves Black Phillip too, or served?
Well, yeah, most Tekeknu do. In fact, many would say that we all do in some way, shape, or form. But he had a unique gift for the skills of his kind to reuse the substance of this world and to trade it and sacrifice it and use it as its Skrot's intended. And in a way, that's all Black Phillip does, is reuse and reshape this world.
I suppose.
And I like to think that he reshaped us in this small amount of time that we had with him.
Me too.
Shame he went the way he did. You hear the fathers nodding along. Cruel world. And unfortunately, you don't need to find the profane in order to come across some of the worst of it. We do it to ourselves. But he wasn't just a follower of Leanne and Shay or a servant of Black Phillip. He did a lot for Loxandre too. And with her, you could find your vengeance. You probably won't find it here. I'm sorry, but we don't move on the sapient of the world.
No.
Not
no.
traditionally. That's not our place. We can't spend our time fighting the wars between the Walund and between the tribes of the Walund. We can't spend our resources fighting the wars of the Onyx and the Tekeknu. We just try to make it a place where you have those choices to pick your battles. But Father, you're getting a bit preachy again. I'm sorry, daughter. Well, thank you for carrying this news to me. Is that...
Well, as I said, that we were on our way to meet you here, and I hate to bring you bad news and then ask you for help right in the sentence after, but we were coming to you because he thought you would be able to maybe help us try to forge an anchor to kind of, keep my brother here instead of stuck in the Potentia.
She kind of sits upright a little bit and like she doesn't cross her arms, but you see that she get like shakes her head loose, like to get a little bit more concentrated on the conversation. Also, it's 8:08. I know we're playing till 9. Did anyone need a bathroom break?
Yeah, I could use
grab a drink.
Break.
I would
Okay.
like to say hi to Grace.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's start back up at 8:15.
Say hi to the cat for me.
I will.
Give Hazel scrunches for me.
Okay, I'm back at least. You're muted if you're talking, Bubs.
I may have been talking.
You may have been.
Somehow blew this up to like. It wants to keep like maximizing itself to my screen. Like, how do I fix?
Discord?
Yeah. Trying to make the screen small as well.
Mm.
You know what? I'll do sideways with that. That might be the best way. Booyah.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
And we're back.
Yep.
Jeremy went to bed, so what's even the point? Shut it down.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's a good point. It's not like he ever watches things that are recorded. It's all for that authentic experience. Authentic experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where we left off, you were talking to G. You mentioned Archek was dead, and you were about to broach the subject of your brother.
I did.
What?
I did. I said about making an anchor
Yep.
for him.
So she, as you talk about that, she like starts to like sit back and like get like in her a little bit more professional posture. She takes a big breath to like clear the clouds from her brain, so to speak. An anchor. This is no simple matter, these things that you speak of.
That's fair.
I can't hear you.
I just said that's fair.
Tell me a little bit about your brother.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was a very kind, quiet soul, you know. He loved planting and gardening. He plants and flowers. Thistles were his favorite, I suppose. He and I lived together for as long as I can remember. I don't know what more you would want to hear, if that's even what you're looking for.
Sounded like you had a nice life, you and him together. That he had a good one.
Yes.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Well, he's not lost.
Kind of squints a little bit. He's alive.
His spirit is. His body's gone, but...
And Ilya is still here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Can you repeat what you're saying, Sarah?
I said, well, his body's gone, but his spirit is still here.
He did not move on. Black Phillip wouldn't take him.
He's choosing... Well, Art was helping have him stay. He wants to stay.
He wants to stay, or do you want him to stay?
Yes.
You said yes, I think. Okay.
If Wretch was there, he would give you a talking to.
You know, many spirits still exist in the Potentia. But out of everyone who passes on, they are few and far between. Near nothing. In fact, most people who claim to have seen ghosts have not seen a spirit. Ghosts are different. Ghosts are a fragment of an emotion imprinted into this world. And out of the conversation that she's having, ghosts are closer to some of the magic that you do when you're trying to get like an inanimate object to do what you want, where you're taking your emotions and you're putting them into something, versus taking a spirit and putting it into something. Anyways, she goes, so most people who think that they've seen spirits claim to have seen ghosts, but they're miseducated. Spirits stay for a few reasons. And typically a ghost is made from a shattering emotion. Extreme fear and pain and panic typically create ghosts. But spirits are made of love, or they're made from true malice. And neither last long without some tether or anchor to dwelling the physical world. Archek was one who was remarkable with the arts of Black Phillip. Like I said, he was what we call a sorcerer, picked it up innately. I could see if your brother was one who was not a powerful spirit, but one who wanted to stay, that is Potentia. Everything we do comes for the Potentia. But the same is said from dwelling. I cannot make him a body. I cannot make him an anchor from nothing. He must be made from something. So that's one thing to know. That we will need materials to make something for your brother to live in, to anchor him here. And there are many different types of anchors, but we don't need to talk about that now. The following, though, is very true. There is not a simple process in making an anchor, and no anchor is meant for any soul, because the Potentia, every fragment of it is unique. We'll have to make something for your brother specifically. But this stuff that we speak about, you see how it's dangerous, yes? For this, it is a similar process to form an anchor for a loving spirit as it is for a truly malicious one. And to allow that to linger is truly a detriment to this world. Not quite the same as profane, but it's painful nonetheless. I would hate for people to have to wipe tears as we have had to today. And so I must ask you, this sharing and using of this knowledge is it's a burden for me to do. I will not tell you how to do this process. I will do it myself. But the process that you asked me to do is not something that you could afford. I'm sorry, unless you've brought nation's wealth in your satchel. It is not something that you can afford.
I see.
But luckily for you, the Asuelun do not do what they do for wealth. I will not ask you to provide a king's ransom for this process. But what I will ask, I got it right here. Maybe. Okay, here we go. If I help preserve this life of your brother, how will this better the world? Rather than allowing your brother to pass through the designs of the Undertaker himself and through the designs of Eve, the Fate Weaver. You presume that your intentions are better than theirs. Don't answer me tonight. You have a task ahead of you if you would like me to make such a vessel for your brother. The task simply is this. You must get your hands on the largest uncut gem you can. Now, normally I would ask for the ashes of the deceased so we could press a gem ourselves to use as an anchor. But I am assuming, having gone so far, did you bring his ashes with you?
No, we didn't.
The
That wasn't really possible.
You are fortunate. Lemore is close to the Keligir, and the Keligir dwarves have many of these such resources. I would ask that you find a gem that is of a suiting shade as his soul would find. And we'll need platinum. We'll need at least 10 platinum.
Okay.
And then there's a portion of this that I cannot help with. I can help you a little bit in instructions on how to make it, but it'll be up to you, because I do not know your brother. The true guts of what can help house and anchor a spirit comes from calligraphy, and I can help design that, but you must personalize it for your brother. And to do that, we need you to either weave a fetish, an organic fetish, or a totem for him. A totem is much more powerful, but it is stationary. And for everyone who's getting weird about the word fetish, a fetish is exactly what it is meant in this situation. It's a thing made to represent a spirit. So people like voodoo dolls. Voodoo dolls are fetishes.
All
Not
right,
a sex thing.
You win
We're
this
not-
round.
We're not all gonna end up being really into feet.
A fetish.
I wake up the next morning and this like zombie brother that I'm already not really about. They're like, by the way, Wretch, if we save this zombie brother, you're gonna be really into feet. And it's like, why are we doing this? Death is like a natural thing. We should just let him go. Anyway, I digress.
Says the guy that was saved by a god.
I'm a hypocrite.
All right.
So yeah, you got some thinking to do because your party members had some real questions, right?
Yeah.
Why are we gonna save your brother's life? You need to get yourself some fine ass loot
Yeah.
to bring, and you need to consider making either you can make a small fetish, which would be something that you could carry around with you, or you can make a totem, which means that you'd make something much bigger, but it would anchor him to a particular place, but it's typically better. And all of this is a shit show. It depending on like how much you bring, the quality of the gem that you bring, the quality of the cuts, how much information you give her, all of that. We'll see what comes out, so to speak.
Okay. Yep. You've given me a lot to think on. Thank you. And obviously I don't have all those things right now, but thank you.
And remember, I'm doing this because it was Archek's dying wish. Okay?
I understand.
I'm doing it for him. And I hope that maybe one day I can be glad I did it for you.
Thank you. And I kind of leave.
Okay.
Kind of.
You kind of leave. Okay, you go to bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leave to go where, by the way? Did we get assigned a room? I know a guy said that we would sleep in like a warded tower, but
You were assigned a tower.
okay. So
the
Wretch
towers are
is already there.
Yeah, the towers are small. They're like 4 stories, and each story has 1 room.
Okay.
And so they're like set up like small. They're small towers that are all like there's like several of them inside the circle of the walls, and then there's a couple of larger structures on top, and then there's also some doors that lead down into the structure, the superstructure, which is the actual fucking tree stump. Okay, Ilya, what's up, man? You're the only one left awake.
I'm gonna head off to our tower. I have discovered a very important fact about my sword.
Alrighty, sir.
That it's your father.
It's not your father, but it was energized from the potentia that consisted of some of your father's ill will. Like he sacrificed to make it, but it was not like it's not like you can be like, "Hello?"
It's
Dad?
got some of your dad's go-go juice in it. Not your dad.
All right.
Thank you. I was
Way to
named
go,
for my
honey.
dad's go-go juice.
Yeah, your dad was a mighty craftsman, and you were the best thing he's ever made. Let's just move on from that.
All right.
In the morning, I think that, actually, I will allow one of you to spend a story point because I know this was a missed opportunity, and just because this is something that you guys can normally ask about, I'm going to ask that maybe you spend a story point to get this. You could have asked G where to find Leanne and Shay if you spend a story point.
Oh.
Because she was more acquainted with Archek than anyone else.
Then sure.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna let Wallaby wander around without doing that. Doing what Wallaby does best.
You guys are going to have to do it the hard way otherwise.
Wallaby was going to have to.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
if you did want to ignore your friend's dying wish that is helping get your brother, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways.
I spent the story point.
Right? Yeah, I just love busting your chops. So what she tells you is that Archek had mentioned that he would sometimes go on a pilgrimage to the Grey Glade to meet Leanne and Shay.
The Grey Glade? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he would find her dancing along the ley lines in the Grey Glade, which is on the western shore of the Thunder Falls. And so I will just quick
Oh, there's the
put some
Thunder
text
Falls
here.
when I go further south. Okay.
Oh.
You said on the western side?
Yeah. Oh, for crying out loud. I'm updating your guys' map with it.
Cool.
We await patiently.
You must add a space, or I will lose my mind.
You want the gray glade? Like that?
Yeah.
Alright. I like it as one word, but
If it's
Oh.
one word, then the second G should not be capitalized. That's all.
I like it like that, alright? Okay, the gray glade. That's way harder to read than I thought it would be. There we go.
Cool.
Okay. So, you wake up in the morning. You all are in the same tower. I'm assuming you guys reconnoiter. Unless anyone wants to have any private conversations with each other. I figure it's 8:36. What I would like is that the direction that you guys are planning on heading after this. Actually, no. First of all, we got a little bit of time. We got 24 minutes. You guys wake to sounds of shouts of alarm.
Uh-oh.
I don't like how it's changed. We were gonna casually talk about what we were gonna do next, and now
I'm still going to. No matter what is happening out there, I am talking about where we're going.
If you could fight to your last breath a little quieter, please.
Some of us are having tea. We lost Josh. He'll be back. He always
Yeah.
comes back.
He always comes back. He's
Oh, that he is.
He is inevitable.
Like full of capitalism.
Are you there? He's just two dancing dots for me.
He's really adding to the ambiance of danger now.
Yeah, very much suspense.
Oh, I wonder if he's in roll 20 and he can't rejoin the. If he rejoins the Discord, maybe roll 20 is taken over.
Yeah, it looks like he's in roll 20. Now he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy?
Hello?
What up,
Buddy.
dude?
Okay, I could hear you guys. That like I logged out, logged back in, and you guys are just like, "Where is he?" All this other stuff. And I was like, "I can see you and hear you and see me. What's going on?" Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
no, I all I got was I said you guys hear cries of alarm, and then I heard you guys go, "Oh snap," and then everything crashed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, no, that,
Okay.
we're all on the same page.
That is
Okay.
in fact what happened.
What do you do?
I'm gonna take a peek outside while grabbing my sword.
Okay. You peek outside and you see folks looking up towards the canopy, fanning out, and kind of like forming somewhat of a semicircle towards the what would that be? That towards the southwest, kind of towards the entrance, looking out and about, kind of like up and over into the canopy, and some people like breaking off from the semicircle to look around.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my stuff together. Because something out there might need stabbing. Excuse me.
They need stabbing.
As you guys move outside, you can hear people fanning around. Left. Sorry. Tower 3 clear. Tower 2 clear. And there looks to be like they're fanning out and systematically checking several. Like they're checking the security of the structure itself.
Oh.
So are
That's-
we all in separate rooms?
You were in separate rooms, but in the same tower.
Okay.
And now we're
I'm gonna-
exiting the tower together.
Yes.
Okay.
I was gonna say I want to make sure that we're not caught unawares.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I also grab my meager amount of shit and go into, I guess, the tower version of a hallway.
Yeah, the hallway of the tower is the staircase.
Yeah.
And you hear Ilya run down the stairs, like to exit the tower. I'm assuming you guys just followed. So you guys see several people like moving along in the courtyard, checking in on things. And one of the group comes up from last night. 1 second. It's Lishka, and she goes, "Huh? Looks like your friend followed you here.
Mm.
The bird?
Einok's dead.
Oh.
Something.
Which one's Einok again?
Einok was the big brutish Asa Wayloon who was carving
Oh.
meat off and having casual conversation. He made a comment about the sword and G going off with Emery at the end of the night, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Here, I found his body. You hear one of the you hear Rad Baxter. I found his body. Looks like he got caught taking a leak.
Head on
Oof.
over there to take a look.
I will as well, but I don't think my services will be needed.
Rad Baxter stooped over the headless corpse, and it appears to have been as you see that Rad Baxter's stooped over the corpse, his shield set aside, and he sighs heavily and like looks at the wound and goes, "Well, I think at least he died quickly." Crying shame for Einok, though. He really wanted to go out swinging.
Huh. So, well, I'm sure he didn't mistake Einok for me, but I know he wants us dead. And I can't help but to feel responsible because it seems he's followed us into Bracken Bastion, but
No. You got it wrong.
Uh-oh.
I know what this is. I'm sorry. Led you astray. First, Lishka's comments on Tengu and Sapiens. Oh, these guys aren't killing for some contract. I've seen these type. He's hunting for sport. This guy. I saw him up there. The Mirage. He threw Einok's head down. Just to bait us. Challenge us. He's moved on from you guys, I think. He sees us now. And I call dibs. This bastard's mine.
All right.
Ilya's like, no, I called him first.
Respectfully, he is everyone's problem now.
You're right. We shouldn't sully ourselves with the call of the hunger.
Oh shit!
Oh, title credits.
We'll work
Oh,
together.
good.
We'll work together on this.
See you right there through the trees.
It's Inox. It's Inox. If anything was Inox's wish, it would be that he'd get his hands around this thing and throttle it good. So, really, any dying wish he'd have is that we kill this fucker and we make it bloody.
Amen to that.
Jesus Christ. This became an 80s action movie like real fast.
Yeah, it did. Oh no, sometimes it's like we're in The Thing, sometimes it's The Predator. Like, just don't know.
It just keeps going.
Okay.
Sometimes we're just in Detroit.
Right?
Ooh.
Take that.
So now with that out,
Cleaner.
the redeemed are going to be planning and orchestrating some stuff from here. So something that you guys have found out based off of your casual conversations is actually Wretch would have figured this out based off of the conversations and just your rebel rousing last night. Many of the Asuelun are gone because they... Oh shit! Fuck. I was supposed to give you... Gio's going to ask you a favor. Fuck, too. We got 14 minutes left.
Really hard on that 9 o'clock list.
I know, right? No, this is really important for me to cover, and I totally missed it. So I'm just going to back up.
Retcon.
As you guys are running into each other outside, you hear G comes over and pulls you guys aside and goes, "So the hunter, he's after us. He's making trophies. I have something I need from you." You see, my kin, the reason why things have been empty around here is the call has been strong lately. Very strong. We feel a pull to hunt profane in the world. Many of us are gone answering the call. I'm afraid my lover is one of them, who's out there right now. And he's not in Guayaquil, he's not in the Barrenlands, he's not in the Winterlands. He's nearby, chasing the sheddings of something local. If he's close by, I fear this predator must be somewhere close. He could be on his own, and you've seen it. We're so used to being on the top of the food chain and stalking our prey. We're not used to having something that could come up behind us and take us out while we're sleeping. We're used to predators that stalk and have a pattern and that we can accommodate and balance for based off of the lore that we have collected and earned hardly over the years. Can you do me a favor? Check in on Hanubo for me. Now Hanubo wouldn't appreciate me asking you to do this.
Who is this person talking to specifically, by the way?
You guys together.
Okay, so all of us.
All three of us.
Okay, when we went maybe back in time, I got a little confused who was supposedly in this conversation.
Yeah, so we didn't go back in time. I just had her come up to you guys now.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a good timing. Anyways, Hanubo is out there somewhere, and he's been out there a little too long, in my opinion. I'm worried for him. And the thing that he was chasing, it left sheddings in the thicketlands. Unnatural sheddings. He knew that there must be a profane abound. If you could go find him for me and ensure that he's all right. Maybe bring him back. That would be... Let's just say it would be a good step on a bridge towards some trust between you and me, Emery. And I can pay you guys.
Where in the Thicketlands? They're pretty big place. Do you know which direction?
The sheddings were seen southeast from here. There's a dancing spring close by. If you follow the thicketland branches within earshot of the babbling of the thicket spring, that's the path that he was led on originally. I don't know where he ended up.
Over the river and through the woods.
Over the river and through the woods, yes.
Yeah, we're right back to that.
Every quest.
Okay, so sorry. That was important.
Yep.
So now, let's circle back.
I have 10 quests written down that we're
The-
supposed to be doing.
Yep, and I'm not going to be giving you more for a long time.
Yes!
So the redeemed that are here are gearing up to basically be on red alert and potentially get some information and figure out how to hunt the hunter here. Your Hanubo, G needs Hanubo found because if this dude is running around killing apex predators, then redeemed are going to be on that list. And she's worried about him, especially if he's hunting apex predators. It might want to kill his prey. So she's worried about him. You also have the Weeping Willows to figure out, and you have a timeline on that and getting the hell back. So what do you guys want to go from here? Obviously, you also have a ton of other stuff to do in the woodlands that's related to going deeper into the woodlands too. So put that out.
I think our first and most pressing issue is this hunter. It could very easily kill one of us while we're sleeping. And it's capable of entering in through that canopy and striking. So we kill that thing first. And we kill it hard.
My helpful input is we need to go find the Willin the Centaur in Lemoore right now. Let's go back to town, pretend none of this ever happened.
Yeah, we'll
I
get a
didn't even
cute
have
little
that one
party.
written down.
No. More seriously, yeah, I think that it would be a little out of character and slightly weird for us to be like, well, have fun getting murdered, and walk away.
It's,
Yeah.
we're on that list.
So
Also, like, no matter what they say, it feels a little bit like it's our fault.
Yeah, we kited that thing in here, kind of under the assumption that it wouldn't
mess
be
with
able to
this.
get in here.
Hey, do you guys know about a wild murderer that just wanders around? No, we have no idea what you're talking about. Hey, someone got murdered as soon as you guys showed up. Yeah, unrelated. See ya.
Yeah, but
Yeah, weird.
it's a silly question. It's coincidental. Guys.
All right.
Um,
So we've got a couple ways that we can do this for fun, and I just want what you guys want out of this. We can go. You guys can try to give me a plan on how you're going to do this, and we will work that in and do that next session. Or you guys can say, nah, just like have the redeemed come up with a plan, and we'll follow that. We could do, and then I'll just feed you guys what's coming out of this according to what they think they need to plan. Or we can like literally have a whole session next time and plan out like, oh man, we're gonna try, you know, like Ocean's 11 this shit, so to speak. What do you guys want?
I really want to plan this because this
Okay.
now feels very personal.
Right.
And I want to pluck this bitch.
Okay, then what I will do. Sorry, Sarah.
One question that I have is, we're just going straight to hunting this guy, and we're not trying to find the lost hunter who might be attacked by this
Hanubo?
guy? Or are we going to try to find him and, like...
Yeah, that's a good question.
We have a way of kiting this thing, so I think our best bet to ensure that it doesn't kill him is to kill it first.
Just so you guys are aware, it'll probably be a day trip to get Hanubo,
Okay. And we know
like to
this
go
thing's
find him.
here now. So... Or he was last night. So...
Right. So,
But he's so fast.
right. So the thing is like, do you want to like, and that's something that can be part of the planning session. Next session is like, do you want to get more reinforcements, consolidate any of the redeemed who are in the local forests out and about? You know, that can be part of your planning. Or do you guys want to like, does it, you know, go by day, go by night, whatever. So, try to lure it here, whatever. So, if that's what you guys want to do next time, then I will try to plan out this a little bit more elaborate to give you guys options for, you know, if you guys start asking me a bunch of questions and how to kill this thing from all of the local stuff going on.
Wretch is not an incredible murder planner. So he'll try.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Predator a couple hundred times.
Just saying.
Yeah, well, maybe you can like make sure everybody's in tip-top shape. While Ilya's doing the big schemes,
Oh,
Yeah.
and I can do
think
traps.
I'm gonna mention this. Not that I think it's like super on the pressing side of things, but it is day 13 of your 28 days that you have for your quest.
Oh, okay. You said 20,
Oh.
so 28 minus 50. You said 18.
You have
I
15 more days.
Okay, I was tracking it by days left. So.
God,
15.
you're really bargaining for more days there.
Yeah.
If 18? What was that? 18? 24? 36 days left. All right. Yeah, we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. I heard 40.
Do I get 50? 50 days?
I heard it's 3 years from now. I don't know.
What is a day, even?
Yeah.
Is it like an epoch? Are we waiting for the Asoalan to evolve back into crabs? I mean,
Well, you can always wait 15 more days and you'll find out.
I also like. I know Josh was the one memeing on me. Sorry, this is just joking about the session. This isn't actually contributing.
You're fine.
So I can hold it. But
well,
all right.
well, now I want to hear it.
Well, okay, we're going for it.
meme
I do like how Josh tried to conflate like my healing and the fact that I was saved by a god at one point from like a disease to the same as like necromancy. And it's like I'm just thinking to myself, Sarah gets stabbed through like the spine, impaled to the ground. I walk over and heal her, and she's like, "I also want to resurrect dead people." I'm like, "Not the same."
No, you were only mostly dead.
Fine, dead.
The
Right.
hospital and the morgue are two different buildings for very different reasons. If you went into a morgue and came out with a living person, people would be scared. If you went to a hospital and came out with a living person, people would call you a hero.
You're also in a world with living walking dead.
I mean, my
I don't
fault.
like them either.
Had nothing to do with that.
And they're
Good
rather
stuff.
nice.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this session of Call of the Hunger. And it sounds like we've got a really fun next couple of chapters here starting to get flushed out. And I hope you guys all have a great night. And I'll be seeing you